Forge says in this article that developers have abandoned traditional programming. There is a quote from Matt Schumer saying that AI models now handling the entire development cycle autonomously, writing tens of thousands of lines of code, opening applications, testing features, and iterating until satisfied, with developers simply describing these desired outcomes and walking away. If you go a bit down inside the article, we can also see that the co-CEO from Spotify is saying that the company's best developers have not written a single line of code since December, and they are also describing that they are fixing bugs and features via Slack on their phones during their commute, then merge completed work to production before reaching to the office. That's pretty nice, but in the same time scary. Boris Cherny from the Anthropic company, head of the Claude Code, said earlier this month that he hasn't written code in over 2 months. Anthropic previously told Fortune that 70% to 90% of the company's code is now AI generated. Woo! I think I believe this one, but here's what are my thoughts on this. As I said, I completely agree with that, but also we have to acknowledge that there is a lot of work to do when you want to set up, for example, a cloud configuration, such as building skills. As for example, I have this one with Deep Dive, where we have different phases that I have understood along the way while trying Claude Code for the last 3 months. Also, we have a lot of agents built for this specific game holder, where there are agents from CTO, product owner, QA, senior developer, or UX. But there is a long way until you understand and build those agents for your specific work or for your specific project, I would say. And one of the things that I want to also show you is that I completely disagree with the idea of leaving AI do something and then just walk away and then come back after 30 minutes or 1 hour, 5 hours. And this is because I have my own experience doing that, where I have left Claude Code build something for 5 hours and 80 minutes, but I had to create this epic where I had to build a new toolkit version 3 of what I was trying to build Cloud Toolkit, because it was using a lot of tokens, because it was just resulting in code or dead code or bugs that were not even what I described in the beginning in the specific feature. So it was actually building something else. But what I understood after building this epic here is that if I was just leaving him to build the plan and then prove the plan, see the plan, brainstorm the plan, deep dive inside the plan, and then I could just let the AI for like 30 minutes or 1 hour to do the work and then come back, view the plan, then iterate on that, then I was approaching the same development workflow that we have or we have had before, where you're just planning, implementing, releasing, and then iterate back. So I completely disagree with the idea of having autonomous work, but I also agree with the idea that it improves your productivity. But all of that, you have to have some tools or a workflow built on your project to do that. And you also need to know exactly what you want when you build the feature. Also, we can see here, if we go back to the article, that Professor Gary Marcus criticized it as a weaponized hype, where he says that Marcus noted that Schumer provided no data supporting claims that AI can write complex apps without errors. And I completely agree with that, because we really need some details and proof that it can actually write code without errors, and you can just walk away and approve it and merge that pull request. But of course, there is also a nice code here from Iggy, where he's saying that with a tennis boost, if you give an engineer Claude Code, then once they are fluent, their work stream will produce 9 additional engineers worth of value. But he's also saying that this will take a lot of energy to build things with AI. And this is a big quote, because for the last 3 months, as I said, it took me a lot of energy, a lot of time to understand how Claude Code works, what exactly I want, how I want to have my workflow in different projects. And of course, depending on the project, it's a different workflow. And if you go back inside GitHub, we can also see that I have built a lot of repositories in the last 3 months, trying out Claude Code, doing a lot of stuff, seeing how it behaves. I've also built a toolkit which was called Claw, where it was just doing autonomous work, because I was just thinking, okay, I can just let Claude do all those fancy stuff for me. But imagine that after just 3 months, I have built this tool, which is named Cloud Toolkit, where I just wanted to have 2 skills and a few agents depending on your project. So it's just from a point where I just wanted to have the whole picture, build everything, just walk away, to a point where I just wanted to have a tool helping me coding something, build something really nice, and brainstorm for a new idea or a new feature. And yeah, as a takeaway, I can say that traditional programming is dying. Of course, that's not a lie about that, but we can also say that the engineers are not dying. We will always be engineers. We will always adapt on the new tools, on using new AI technologies and new LLMs and so on. But also right now, if you think about it, we will still code something. We will not type a lot of code as we were doing before, but we will still type some code, whether is it production, because we don't want to allow Claude Code in production that much, or have it full permission now, as for example. But also I have tried just not writing any code for simple projects where I just wanted to build something and see how it's working and just have the principle of failing fast. But when it comes about work, you always have to see it, to approve it, to test it out, and in general just make changes until you are happy with that work. And of course that requires a lot of skill, and it's not about code, it's about you as an engineer and what you have learned and what you will learn in the future. And that also comes with knowing when AI is actually going on a wrong path and how you should instruct him. So as a final question for this video, is AI making you more productive, or it has actually made you more tired? Tell me in the comments.